space. And in addition to that, I don't get awkwardly stared at. The only thing...
Hey guys, welcome back to Foreign Reacts. Today we're going to be checking out a video that is very interesting. This one is titled, What is it like being black in the Netherlands? I've done a video of this regarding Germany before. Now we're going to be doing it for Netherlands. Obviously, we're in the series where I do a bunch of videos related to the Netherlands for April. So April is almost coming to an end. So we're going to shoot another poll for another country. But nonetheless, I'm not going to stop doing videos for the Netherlands. It's not like I'm going to just stop. It's just that I won't be doing it consistently, like bing, 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 every day or every other day. But either way, so we're going to check out this video. So if you're not subscribed, please do subscribe. Also, we have social medias, Instagram, Facebook, and I have a Patreon where you guys can get way crazy behind the scenes, like plans that we're gonna have for the channel, plans that I'm gonna have, me moving to Europe, stuff like that. You guys can go check it out on the Patreon, social medias, email, all of those will be in a pinned comment. You guys can reach out to me and talk to me, whatever you want to do. But either ways, let's get right into this video.
Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time here, thank you so much for clicking on the video. Sure. My name's Fee and I post weekly videos about my new life here in the Netherlands from the United States. Now guys, in today's video, I'll be talking about one of the questions, if not the question that I get asked
everybody
the most
always putting
by
that
family members, friends, and even subscribers about what it's like being black in the Netherlands. So you guys know how we do it here. Go ahead and get comfortable, get yourself your favorite drink, and we'll get right into it.
Some water.
Now, I know some may argue that this question isn't necessary, but to be honest, it's ubiquitous. Yeah. Frankly speaking, this is a question that I was curious about when we decided to make the move to the Netherlands from the United States, right? Especially without getting too in depth.
I think everybody who is from America or have experienced America should not necessarily be too worried about racism or anywhere else in this world. I think America has the highest, when it comes to highest level of fear as a person of color or Mexican or whatever you want to title yourself as. I think America has that, you know, because America, you will literally be attacked. It's not, America is a place where it's very dangerous. That's the reason why there are so many public shootings and all of that. So it's one thing to think about it for other countries, but I think the most you'll get in it, even a racist, maybe you go to a racist country where they straight up don't like you, and the most you'll get is just some dirty ass words, but no physical touches. You know what I mean?
And all the issues that the U.S. was facing, considering race, it's something that I couldn't help but wonder. So I think having been in the Netherlands for 9 months, my experience as a black person in the Netherlands is a drop in the water compared to a black Dutch national or any black person that's lived in the Netherlands for a longer period of time. So another person's experiences may be totally different from mine. And so these are just generalizations based on my experiences. Now, I remember a month or so after we had moved to the Netherlands, I was just, having one of my regular chats with my sister, and I told her that I'd actually made an interesting observation here in the Netherlands. Now, back in America, when I would go to a store, be it a supermarket or what have you, well, just so it makes more sense, I lived in a predominantly white area back in the US. So, anytime I would go to the stores, I would always have that one kid who would always give an anxious stare. Now, I think that kids are the purest form of innocence. So I'm always in amazement that in the US, that prides itself in being a melting pot of all different cultures and races, that you have some children who aren't exposed to different races. Which brings me here to the Netherlands. Not once have I been to a store and had a child anxiously stare at me. And I remember telling my sister that as much as that may seem absurd and minuscule, it's an indication of what the rest of the country is like. Now, I know someone in the comment section is going to come at me and tell me that I have these rosy glasses on, and I respect their opinion. I'm not naive to the fact that there are people who are in the Netherlands who don't like Black people or people of other races. All I'm saying is that my experiences with them have not been as prevalent as they would have been back home in America. Something else that I'm very passionate about and was worried when we moved to the Netherlands was how my son, in as much as he's biracial, is considered Black in America, would be treated by the Dutch kids here in the Netherlands. I had mentioned in one of my previous videos, which a lot of people were surprised about, was how back home in America, we had to be mindful about what playgrounds we went to because, some people just simply didn't want us there. So those were concerns coming into the Netherlands if we would experience the same thing.
No,
truthfully speaking, it got to a point where I always was on edge going to playgrounds back home because it became such an uncomfortable environment. But I cannot begin to state how stress-free the playgrounds here are. I mean, the kids play so well together to the point where I'm now comfortable to let him go to the playground on his own, which is something I would have never done back home. And more so than anything, I'm not worried about something unpleasant being said to him by an adult or even a kid. And in addition to that, and this is something I feel so strongly and passionate about, is that my Black son is safe here in the Netherlands and won't be targeted based on his race. It got to a point in America where we're left but no choice to start having these uncomfortable conversations with our boys once they got to a certain age. They had to be mindful about things such as making sure they have a receipt when they leave a store so they're not accused of stealing something. Making sure that they don't wear the hoodie up when they're walking at night. Be mindful of what neighborhood you go running in when you're trying to exercise. If you have an encounter with a police officer and things start to get out of hand, make sure you turn on your video camera. And to be honest with you, this is so sad to me and it breaks my heart because these are not things that you should have to tell your kids. And with that heavy stuff all off to the side, something else that we were told when we were moving to the Netherlands was that we should stay away from the smaller cities and live in the bigger major cities because the smaller cities were not diverse. And I'm here to tell you that Dordrecht, not being a large city in compared to Amsterdam or Rotterdam, is absolutely diverse. I'm not ever at any one time the only Black person in a...
But the thing is, diversity doesn't really make it easier for you when you're different. That's what people think. When you're different and you're the only one like that in an area, it actually makes you unique. So it does not actually make things more difficult for you. Let me tell you something. There's a thing called threatened. And when people feel more threatened, that's when they will be more protective or reactive. They will show their true colors. But when they're not necessarily feeling threatened, they're not going to show their true colors. And in my humble opinion, I've heard of racism so badly in those states, that the popular states. Those are the ones you hear about, right? Why do you hear about it in popular states? Because most of the times they're more confident to do it right there, but they're not necessarily going to do it in, I just, that's what I personally think. I just personally think that in a state, if you're in a small city and you're the only Black person, everybody practically knows you. They know you, right? So that's what I think. I don't know.
Space. And in addition to that, I don't get awkwardly stared at. The only thing I wish they had more of here in Dordrecht was hair salons that cater to Black women. Maybe there's some out here that I haven't seen before. If you know any, please let me know in the comment section. But I will tell you firsthand that we have not experienced any unsavory situations here in the Netherlands. Again, as I said before, I know and I'm aware that people have experienced that and that people who don't like Black people do exist in the country, but I have been lucky enough to not yet deal with it. Anyways, guys, with that being said, I hope you enjoy.
Yeah, there's good stuff, man. You ain't got to worry about it. I don't really like getting into these topics about race because a lot of people get sensitive about it. I have a sad perception of racism, and I guess that's why I don't, go eye to eye with a lot of people when it comes to racism, because the reality of racism for me is just as common as everything. So if you're not touching me, bro, whatever, be you. I've been around a lot of Black people, a lot of Mexicans, a lot of white folks. I've been around them. if I'm supposed to be honest, I get treated better by, I'm not going to say which one of them, but it would shock you the answer that I give you, right? I've met people who are racist, straight up racist, KK clan, been there, right? And that's what I'm trying to say to you, that it's just, I don't know. You can't really allow a person who is racist to allow you to get under their control. Racism is a hate, my guy, and it's a typical hate, and it stems further than slavery. So people attach racism with slavery a lot. Nah, bro, it's totally different. Slavery was put in place not to keep you down, but to put them up. Don't forget that. They wanted to have successful businesses. They wanted to build a country. So they looked for the weakest person mentally, and they said, okay, if we can convince these people, if we can take them, steal them, and let them build our country. That's what slavery really is. It's not about racism. It just spread into racism, right? That's why I've always believed in classism before racism, because racism is literally just common hate. It's just hate. That's it. That's it, right? And most of these people who are racist, bro, like, you just look at them. I don't even know, I don't even know. I don't like talking about this. But either ways, guys, I'm out of here. Peace.